All right, to close out the show this evening, let's take a way too early look at the Buffalo Bills 2025
Mm,
NFL draft needs or just positional needs in general, because these can obviously be addressed in free agency as well. Things change, right? All the
yep.
positions that we're talking about right now, guys can step up and we're talking, and other guys can underperform. And we're talking about completely different position groups come Senior Bowl week when it comes time to really get to hammer home. But just looking and projecting this Buffalo Bills roster into 2025, let's just go. You can go first and I'll go second, and we'll just go as long as we can to sort of poke holes in the future of this Buffalo Bills roster and some possible positions of need, some positions maybe when we go to watch college football this year, we're paying attention to. I'll start with you. What's one position you think is a major need that the Buffalo Bills are going to need to address in the 2025 offseason?
Well, time continues to be a flat circle here on the draft needs, and somehow, some way, cornerback finds its way back to
Yep.
being a draft need for
My
the
number
Buffalo
one.
Bills.
My number
Rasul
one.
Douglas not under contract. Benford is there. I
Up
get
after
it.
2025.
Up after 2025, and then Kyrie Elam is still very much a wild card, and we don't know
Mhm.
what he's going to be this year. I don't think you can, at this stage in the summer of 2024, bank on him being much more than a CB3 beyond 2024.
Mhm.
So to me, cornerback becomes a pretty pressing need for the Bills come next year, come 2025.
Yeah, I had 3 position groups sort of earmarked as like my 1A, 1B, 1C. Cornerback was my 1A. My 1B is edge rusher. Obviously,
Yeah.
we've got Gregory Rousseau. His deal is up after 2025. I feel pretty confident in him. I feel really confident in AJ Epinesa, but after that, you got the expiring contracts of Casey Toohill, Dwayne Smoot. You have an aging Von Miller, and then you have Javon Solomon, who, yes, we all like his upside, but he was a later round pick. And even if Javon Solomon works out, it's Groot, Epinesa, Solomon. You need more from that position group. You need as many bodies. You need as much competition. You need as many guys to pin their ears back and go after the quarterback as you can get your hands on. It is a pass rush driven league. So I have edge rusher on my list of 2025 Buffalo Bills draft needs.
That's a good one. Let's see. Where could I could go a number of directions here next. Let's go with I'm gonna this might surprise some people, but I'm gonna go interior offensive line.
Mhm.
I mean, maybe I'll just go offensive line in general.
Yeah, we can do that.
I think offensive line needs a high investment. Whether, let's say, we get Spencer Brown on an extension, maybe that pushes tackle down the need of making it a high draft pick. But if you don't give Spencer Brown an extension, tackle becomes a huge need. Obviously, he's going to be a glaring hole at right tackle if he's not extended. And then on the interior, right? We don't know Van Pran Granger. We want him to maybe be the heir apparent at center, and so
Mhm.
we can kick McGovern maybe back to left guard. But it certainly sounds like the Bills are set on having McGovern play center. Now things can change, but I don't love the thought of David Edwards necessarily starting this year, although it's looking like that's going to be the case at left guard. But he's gone after this year, and then where are you left? Maybe it's Alec Anderson. I don't know, right? But like interior offensive line
Mhm.
and offensive line in general beyond 2024 still gives me a little bit of worry.
Yeah, my 1A, 1B, 1C was cornerback, edge, right tackle because we don't know Spencer Brown's future. But if they do lock Spencer Brown up, right tackle then comes sort of off that list. You can always
Mm,
add tackles later in the draft as depth, competition, future projection, like they did with guys like Till and Grable this year. But I had interior offensive line as one of my secondary needs as well because
mm,
David Edwards is only on a 2-year deal. You don't know what Van Pran Granger is going to give you. There's injuries, etc. You just always want to be adding talent to the offensive line. The Buffalo Bills did so this year with a lot of sort of later round picks. Maybe they up that investment a little bit next year, especially given all the picks that they have. I'm going to go wide receiver with
mm.
my next sort of choice here. MVS and Hollins are on expiring deals. Khalil Shakir is up, and you got to pay him after 2025. So that really just leaves Curtis Samuel, Shakir, Keon Coleman. You're going to want to add, I think, some more speed to this group. You're going to want to find, as we mentioned at the top of the show, or the middle of this show, excuse me, you're going to want to find a younger version of MVS, one who preferably will more consistently catch the ball than MVS has in the regular season, those downfield burners. So if you're the Buffalo Bills, draft a wide receiver in the top 4 rounds every single year. Josh Allen
Mm.
is your starting quarterback. Just continue to go back to the drawing board at that position year after year after year. Throw as many darts at the board as you can. Give Josh Allen as many weapons as you can. We've seen other teams have success doing this. The Seahawks draft receivers year after year after year. The Steelers draft receivers year after year after year. If you're the Buffalo Bills, especially with all those picks you have next year, get into that game as well. I'm not even saying you need to use a first or a second round pick on a wide receiver, but you're sitting there in the 3rd round, you're sitting there in the 4th round. Let's add some more receivers to this group, especially maybe given the makeup of the unit that we have right now. Maybe start to look for some dynamic speed to add to that wide receiver room in 2025 with a younger player. So I'm going to go wide receiver here.
Yeah, I like that because I think a lot of people wanted the double dip this year, and
Mhm.
rightfully so, right? This was a really good wide receiver class that was talked about a lot. But, with the numbers game, like in the Bills obviously going out and getting MVS, like that was the route they decided to take rather than double dipping this year and going like super youth movement in 2024. Now they can kind of spread it out a little bit. I like that idea of going after another wide receiver, maybe a day 2 guy as early as day 2 next year, early day 3. So I'm with you there. I think that I could go a number of different directions with this next one, but I think I'll go with the continuous sort of like turnover of the safety room
Mhm.
here. Look, I love the Cole Bishop pick. I love the potential of the Bills safety room in 2024, having 3 guys like Mike Edwards, Cole Bishop, and Taylor Rapp as kind of those 3 guys that you can kind of rotate between. But Mike Edwards is here on a 1-year deal, right? And we talked
Mhm.
about it on the defensive expiring contract show. Like the Bills really have like one free safety, true like free safety on the team, I guess I would say, and they have a lot of guys who at least project and have played better in and near the line of scrimmage and Rapp and Cole Bishop in his college career anyway. Now Rapp can do it. I'm not saying he can't, but it would be nice for the Bills to go out and get
Mhm.
a ball hawking sort of center fielding type safety in the draft to kind of maybe pair with a young Cole Bishop for future years. And then next year you talk about you have a rookie free safety, Cole Bishop going into year 2, and Taylor Rapp as your sort of third safety if Mike Edwards
Mhm.
is gone after the 1-year deal.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I had in my notes center fielding free safety, right? Like you're looking for that partner for Cole Bishop into the future, especially with Mike Edwards on that 1-year deal. The last one that I had on my list was one tech defensive tackle. Daquan
Mhm.
Jones is 32 years old.
Yeah.
Austin Johnson will be 30 plus, and his deal is only for 1 year, so it's expiring. So one tech defensive tackle. We went out and got a young 3 tech in Dwayne Carter to put
Love that.
behind Ed Oliver. Now go get a 1 tech version of Dwayne Carter, as we talked about on last week's show. Go get a young guy in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. You could probably go later with a 1 tech, right? And get that sort of plugger type of guy who does still have a little bit of a pass rush pop and athleticism pop like a Daquan Jones does. Go get someone to put in behind Daquan Jones and really start to establish your future next to Ed Oliver, because Dwayne Carter is more Ed Oliver than he is a running mate of Ed Oliver, at least on early downs. On passing downs, you could probably play the 2 of them together.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, is punter a need? I mean, at some point it probably is, right?
Every
But
year, time is a flat circle.
I mean, otherwise I think like we got, Daquan Hardy, maybe the backup slot. So I think we got
Mhm,
that covered. I like the interior defensive line. That makes sense. And like linebacker, I think they're pretty set. Maybe backup quarterback, like a true
mhm,
backup developmental quarterback at some point they'd want to invest in. But the Bills haven't really had the luxury of putting, I guess, money, I would say, into the backup quarterback, and they wanted to use their draft picks elsewhere, which I understand because they're trying to retool the bottom
mhm.
of this roster. But at some point, maybe they would want to take a look at a quarterback.
This segment is from the Air Raid Hour podcast. The full show is live every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the Cover One YouTube channel. Don't miss out!